right, what's going on, y'all? This is Clarence Jr. We're going to have a quick, but I think very interesting hypothetical conversation today. So, the other day on Twitter, I saw a post that was talking about Bluefield State University and how they have their first basically non-black sorority on campus, and so that got me to thinking. They got because that this does happen in some instances where the school starts off as it's an HBCU or remains an HBCU. However, the demographics change, right? So it starts off predominantly black, and then for lots of different reasons, a school's demographics can change. And so that's what we're seeing with Bluefield State, and I think the same thing is going on with West Virginia State. And there may be a few other schools that I'm not fully aware of at the moment, but it is what it is. And so that got me thinking. I thought to myself, which would you rather have? If your school's demographics was changing to the fact that it was no longer going to be a predominantly black student base, and so that changes student life and lots of other things, right? Would you prefer that the school stay open and just service whoever is still interested in going there? Or would you prefer that your school would close? Now, there was some confusion around this post, and I'm going to get to it in a second, but I'm not speaking on the powers that be and why the demographics change. And I know the H stands for historically, so it's still an HBCU. I'm not saying that it's no longer an HBCU. I'm not saying that it's black folks' fault why the demographics changed. What I'm simply asking is if for whatever reason your school that you went to, that you graduated from, that you love, was in the position where it was either going to be, you know, predominantly non black or it was going to close, which would you prefer? That was the question. And I'm going to get to the Instagram post and the different comments on there, right? And before I get in all the way into those and start reading those, I want to recap to you guys a conversation I had with some people on Twitter, on X. Because while I was on X, I was talking to a few people, and for the most part, I was talking to alumni of, I talked to a few alumni from Tuskegee. And what they said was very interesting. They said that if Tuskegee University was ever in the position to where it was either going to be predominantly non-black or closed, they would prefer, based on the founders and the history of Tuskegee, if the school would just close. There was a couple of Tuskegee alumni who told me that. If it was between the school being predominantly non-black or the school closing, close the school. So now let's go ahead and look at the comments on this post and see what, because here's how this whole thing began. Shout out to Dr. Jackson Edwards. They said Bluefield State may be the only HBCU with a white sorority, Alpha Sigma Alpha. So my question was, this leads me to a question for the HBCU family. Would you rather your alma mater become an HBCU in name only in terms of demographic, or have the school close? So that's the question. It's a hypothetical situation, not blaming anybody for anything. But let's go ahead and zoom in and let's look at some people's honest feelings about this. Because I'm not going to lie, I was surprised. Some people said, you know what? I'd rather my school close than for the demographics to change. Okay. Okay, let's see. Here we go. The essence of Rachel. School close. HBCUs need to remain black. Let's see what some of the responses are to her comment. So, bring back segregation. This the thing we fought against. Man, okay. Let's find another one. Yeah, we know that part. Yes, yes. We shout for inclusion and diversity, so why not show them we can do it first? I think it's a beautiful step in the right direction, okay? Close it, shut it down. If it's not going to remain black, chains on the doors like lean on me. Oh, Bluefield is not a real HBCU, man. Let's see. Demographics in the community. Okay, well, that's about that. The population. Keep it. Definitely don't shut down. This is the first person. Well, maybe the second person I've seen say, "Hey, keep my school open." We are too accepting. It's not reciprocal. HBCUs for life. There we go. This inclusivity that seems to hurt us in the end. We stay being the only ones shamed out of being non-inclusive. Okay. Why would I want my alma mater to shut down? Yes, I understand why you would want to, but you're just going to let them win that way? So just close off the opportunity for the university to serve black students? I say close them doors. Close because it's no longer an HBCU. It's already so many things in the world that is only black in name, but run by other races. Stop giving it away. Yeah, we good over here. We are historically what we are, and yeah, we not letting them infiltrate. They planned this all along to take down the HBCU and slowly shift it to a PWI. I don't think race should matter. Okay. Close it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. Once again, this is just a hypothetical question that I threw out there. I wanted to know what people honestly thought about it. Like, really think about it. Your school, let's say 10 years from now, they said, hey, black enrollment ain't what it used to be. We're going to shift. We're going to shift our focus to other student bases and other demographics, or we're going to have to close the school down. Right? Let's just say 10 years from now, your alma mater, your alumni association sent you a letter in the mail and they wanted to know your opinion of it. Should we shift the demographic focus of the university, or should we let things run its course and go out with dignity and pride? What would your response be? Would you say, hey, get whoever you need to get in here to keep the school open? Or would you say, you know what, it's been a good run, it's been a fun ride, shut it down? Let's just be real about it. On the one hand, your institution is still open. It still exists. You can still go to the homecomings. You can still go to events. Now, it will be different demographic. Things will be different. Some stuff you may feel has been rewritten or washed over, but the institution will still be there. You can still visit it. When you talk about your degree is from a place that still exists. That's a good thing. Or on the flip side, we went out with our head high. We went out like what's the character in Wakanda? Not T'Challa, the cousin. I can't remember his name right now. The light skinned one, Michael B. Jordan's character. We went out like him. I'm gonna be real with you. The responses were interesting. A lot more people said, "Hey, close the school down," than I thought was gonna say that. But a lot of people said, "Hey, if it's no longer majority black, close it down." What do you guys think? Honestly, the Alumni Association sends you a letter in the mail. They say, "Hey, we're going to go after a different student base to keep the doors open, or we're just going to go ahead and finish out the next year or two, and then we're going to close the doors." And you get a vote. What would your vote be for? Very interesting conversation. What do you think?